Ivy League graduate suspected of gunning down a health insurance CEO has been shown eating McDonald's moments before his arrest. Luigi Mangione, who was charged with the murder of United Healthcare boss Brian Thompson in New York last week, was arrested on Monday in a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. Police recovered a gun, mask and writings linking him to Thompson's ambush. He'll now be extradited to New York to face charges.
This is the house of Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, located in Maryland. According to his family's latest revelations, the incident has taken a significant turn. Mangione's parents said he became emotionally unstable after a traumatic back surgery. Investigators found that his severe back issues and negative experiences with the medical industry played a major role in the incident. After surgery, his frustration with the healthcare system, particularly United Healthcare, grew. His anger...
All right, going to share my quick thoughts about what's going on with this guy, Louis Mangione, who is being charged for killing the CEO of United Healthcare. You guys asked me to weigh in on this, so I had to watch some of these news stories and give my thoughts, which I'm going to give you real quick. It might be unpopular to you guys, or it might not be, right? Regardless, this kid really just screwed up his life. He's 26 years old, man. The kid is just starting his life, and now it's over. Okay, no matter what happens, he could have the best lawyer on the planet. He is not going to get off of this. He will likely go to prison for pretty much the rest of his life, unless he gets paroled at some point, maybe in his 60s or 70s, and he's no longer a danger to society. But that's how these things work. And he really just threw his life down the drain, but not only his, but obviously his own family. He's affected his own family. Before I even get into the United Healthcare CEO and what his situation was, he's embarrassed his own family, and they're distraught, and his family, his friends, his alma mater, they all go down with him, right? Because it's like, oh, yeah, the accused killer, supposed murderer, graduated from this school. You know, oh, he's from your family. Oh, that's your relative. You know, I mean, so it's really saddening. I'll say that. It's really saddening. And the United Healthcare CEO, unlike this kid who grew up in a rich family, it's always these rich kids, man. It's always these rich kids. Dude's family owns 2 country clubs, so they have generational wealth because apparently his grandparents built this country club, and they're loaded, right? I mean, it's not like this kid like grew up struggling or, you know, had to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. No, he went to a $40,000 a year prep school, a high school. Most of us don't have parents who can afford that kind of stuff. And not only that, but he had it all, man. He was a smart kid. Okay, he was valedictorian of his class also. So, I mean, this guy had a bright future. And now it's all gone. Because like I said, he's going to be in prison, breaking big rocks into little rocks for pretty much the remainder of his life. It's all over. Now, as far as the United Healthcare CEO goes, that guy did not come from money. His parents did not own country clubs. He did not come from wealth. From what I hear, his dad was like a janitor or something like that. And this kid, when he was younger, he went to public school. You know, his dad just wanted the best for him. And he was able to, go to college and all this and just work his way up the corporate ladder to where he became a CEO, right? He became the CEO of United Healthcare. And, you know, to blame him for basically, you know, everything that's wrong with the healthcare system or everything that's wrong with United Healthcare, I mean, that would be like, you know, trying to take out Bill Gates because you don't like the way the new Windows 11 is working. Hey, man, it's missing some programs that Windows 10 had. You know, it's Bill Gates' fault. Let's take him out. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Or going to the Microsoft store and getting the wrong product and then going, oh, this is Bill Gates' fault for some reason. Yeah, no, it's not. United Healthcare is not a small business. It's a big gigantic corporation, right? Which means it has a board of directors. It has other officers in place. So it's not like this guy can just make changes, because he's a CEO and they'll stick, right? He has to pass it through everybody and they have to agree on it. They have to vote on it. And, it's no different than being the president. I mean, the president has a lot of power, but he can't just do whatever he wants, right? Without going through Congress or the Senate or the House. It's kind of like that with being the CEO. I mean, he has less power as the CEO, right? So, yeah, it's not like Bill Gates can just go along and change pricing and I'm going to make all my products, slash it 90% to help everyone out in these hard times. No, he can't do that, right? Because, again, his board of directors say, no, that's going to kill our profits. You can't do that. But then going and wasting Bill Gates because he didn't slash the price of Microsoft 90%. So regardless, this guy, the CEO that he killed, did not grow up with money. He did not grow up on, in some country club. He went to a public school and he had to work his way up. Not only that, this dude has a family, okay? This guy has a family. He has 2 kids, right? He's a 50-year-old man, right? He has 2 boys that depend on him as their father to help raise them. And now they've just lost their dad, right? These kids, they don't know what he does for work. They're not involved in the daily decision makings of what goes on at, his father's company, right? So they're being, affected by this. Their lives are changing forever for something that was out of their control, and for this kid, this 26-year-old kid who shot him, I mean, so many people online are calling him a hero and, oh yeah, that's what they get, imagine how many lives that this CEO has on his hands because he denied healthcare to these people. Again, that would be like blaming Bill Gates for what's going down at the Microsoft store, right? I mean, these things are mostly out of his control. And not only that, but they'll just install another CEO and he might even be worse. Okay, he might even be worse. And I believe they've already installed somebody else, like whoever, but I'm sure if they haven't already, they will, within the week, because again, they have to answer to their investors, directors, other C-level execs, and their employees. So just taking out Brian Thompson is not going to solve the issue, right? And because this kid is 26 years old, he was drummed up by his emotions. And what do I always tell you guys? Don't let your emotions take control of you. Do not let your emotions make your decisions for you. And I was actually working on a video about how all of the violent criminals in prison today are in there because of their emotions, right? They're not in there because they were making logical decisions. They are in there because they made emotional decisions that many of them now regret. And I believe this kid will regret this one day. He's not regretting it right now because it just happened. But wait till enough time passes, the media forgets about this, and, he's just sitting in prison rotting, not getting his McDonald's, because they don't serve no McDonald's in prison where he got busted, right? He ain't going to get no Big Mac in there. They don't serve that kind of, they call it like world food in prison. You're not going to get a world food in prison. You're going to get what they cook, right? Which is generally not healthy for you. And this kid looks like he's pretty healthy. You're not going to be getting any organic vegetables or, meatless, impossible burger patties. Not in prison. You have to eat what they give you. So he ruined his life. He wasn't thinking. He did not think this through. And again, going back to the people in the comments who were like cheering him on, this is not going to change really anything, right? It's not going to change anything. They're going to use this guy as an example. Mr. Anti-capitalist, Mr. I hate corporations. Look at the governor of New York. I think it's like Kathy Hochul or something like that. She's not helping him out, and she's on that side of the fence politically. She's not helping. They're gonna make an example of him because they don't want this to become a trend. Like, oh man, everybody's going after CEOs all of a sudden, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there are more attempts on other CEOs. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because this might start some sort of chain reaction, but that's why I say they're going to make a prime example out of this guy. And if he, if he really wanted to make some serious change, I mean, he didn't even have a discussion with this guy, the CEO. I mean, he was stalking him. He was basically hunting him down. Are you telling me at no point you could have just at least tried to have a conversation with him, tried to talk to him? Because he's not just some Joe Schmo. Again, his family is rich. They're wealthy. They have influence. They have power. He has a cousin who's a politician, right? You can yourself enact some serious change if you wanted to. But instead, he took the lizard brain way out and he just shot this guy. He was like, just take him out. My emotions, I'm angry. And again, I can't say this enough. Your emotions will do you in every single time, right? This is why I can't stand people who rule by their emotions, because people who rule by their emotions always have anger issues. They always have anger issues. And you see this kid, like every photo and video of him, he's like, rah, rah, rah. And it's like, who are you really angry at? Yeah, sure, he shot the CEO and some people are cheering it on. But who are you really angry at? You're angry at yourself, right? And, you can't sit there and say that like, oh, well, he had his back injury and he didn't get his coverage. And give me a break. Again, this kid is rich. He is rich. His parents are loaded. He doesn't need to depend on, the healthcare system. He has private doctors. I will tell you that right now. His parents can afford the best. He doesn't need to go to the same hospital you and I go to, right? And so that really has nothing to do with it. I think he just had a grudge, and he took this dude out. And, for people saying, oh, he's a hero, he's trying to help other people. No, because in many of these situations, no matter what it is, a person's usually selfishly acting for their own self-interest, right? He did not like the way they ran their corporation. So he decided to take matters into his own hands, vigilante style, and take out the CEO because he didn't agree with him. And if that's the society where we're going to start living in, you start arming yourself, man, because it will happen to your family, right? When somebody doesn't agree with that person, so they'll just come and, I'll just take him out. That does not make for a peaceful society, right? Society is just not perfect. It just isn't, right? And, again, people are saying he had back issues and everything, and it started there. But like I said, his parents are loaded. What, you telling me that they can't afford health care because United Healthcare won't give him his back surgery or something like that? You telling me you can't hire private doctors? I mean, personally, for me, I mean, I don't even roll with, I don't even mess with the healthcare insurance, the healthcare insurance, period, because I kind of roll like Evel Knievel, one of my heroes, right? Evel Knievel just paid as he went, right? He had the money. He's like, I just pay as I go. And they're like, Evel Knievel, how do you stay alive? How do you keep yourself from dying? It's like, how I keep myself from dying? I don't go to hospitals. I stay away from them, and when I have to go, I pay out of pocket. I'm the same way. I just pay out of pocket. If I have like some dental, some cavities, or I need to see a doctor or whoever else, optometrist, I've just paid out of my credit card. Like, they're always like, do you have insurance? What's your insurance somewhere? I'm like, here's my credit card. This will take care of it. Right? And I don't have to deal with it. That's why I'm not really familiar with the industry. I know that there's a lot of shenanigans going on. But again, the way to solve that is not by taking out the CEO. That it's just not going to solve anything. And he could have strategized if he used like just rational thinking and didn't lead with his emotions. With the power, money, and influence that his family has, they could have made a much deeper dent in this rather than just taking out the CEO, who is going to be replaced by another CEO in a week, and you'll be back to square one. So you didn't really make any change. And outside of that, I'm kind of put off by a lot of the comments I've seen, and it's also by people who are emotional and are not thinking rational and just thinking like just painting out the CEO like he's Hitler or he's Stalin or something like that, or he's he deserves this, but again, you have to look beyond his profession and go, this is also a person with a family and 2 kids. His sons didn't do anything to you. You know, his wife didn't do anything to you. You know, they've lost their dad now, and it's almost Christmas. I mean, imagine how Christmas is going to be for them. And then, of course, you know, the emotional people will be like, oh, imagine all the people that he denied claims to. I'm not going to have a Christmas either. It's like, I understand, but 2 wrongs don't make a right. And voluntarily, you know, I mean, going over and pulling the trigger, I mean, murder is just, you know, it's part of the 10 commandments. I believe it's commandment number 6, thou shalt not kill. You know, we don't have the right to take anybody's life. You know, only God has that right. You know, and these people who are denied health care, I mean, you know, what can I say? I mean, there's other ways to go about this, okay, than going to the extremes. I mean, me personally, like I said, I don't like the way it's run either. That's why I just pay out of pocket. You know, and there were times where I didn't have the money to do that. Now I have the money to afford good health care, but at times when I didn't, I would just have to scrape some funds together and just, you know, go see a doctor. But I also take responsibility, try to live healthy. I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs. I try to stay fit. I work out. You know, I eat right and stay away from doctors. You know, so yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. It really is. It really is. But you know, it just saddens me that people are only looking at one aspect of this. They're not looking at it as a whole, like how many lives, how many people's families are affected. But not only the CEO's family, but his as well, right? This is going to tarnish his family name forever. It's just going to ruin their family name forever, you know, and it's very, very sad. And of course, he's an this is what just kills me about these guys, like anti-capitalists. They're always from rich families. They always come from wealth. They're like complete hypocrites, but it annoys me to no end. It's like these liberal elites. They always come from these rich-ass families, you know, and then they got rich. Their family got rich with capitalism, but now they want to stand against it because they got a trust fund. They got millions of dollars set aside. They don't have to worry about money ever again. Now they want to rail against capitalism so you can't get rich. Oh gosh, give me a break. I mean, it just disgusts me that it's always rich. You don't see poor people being anti-capitalist. No, it's only rich people, right? And the poor people that have been brainwashed by rich people like that to think, oh yeah, you know, everybody should have the same kind of money. It's because you have a trust fund, bitch, right? You have millions of dollars waiting for you for doing nothing. But for the rest of us, we got to work, right? Or we got to do content here in the middle of the night, right? There's no escape for us. So that's why I tell you guys, like, I am definitely a capitalist. I want everybody to make money. I want everybody to get rich, right? I'm never going to preach this message like, no, it's not the answer, you know, because it does solve a lot of problems, right? Having money solves a lot of problems. And this guy really didn't have any problems. And that's the thing with being a rich kid, is like, you're just so entitled. You're just not living in reality. You're just living in this bubble where you can't see that how much abundance you're surrounded by, right? This kid had a wealth of abundance he grew up in. A wealth, I mean, probably had a big ass room, every toy you can imagine. If he wanted a Ferrari or Lambo, his dad could have just bought it for him, whatever. Look what he did. He threw it away. Now he's going to sit in prison. Sad. Very sad, man. But as always, guys, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of this situation. And let me know your thoughts now that I've given mine. And, you know, and like I said, I mean, if you have a problem with the healthcare system, the way to handle that is not by killing people. You know, that just does not make sense. You know, oh, we need to send a message. That's not the way to send the message, because all you show people is that you can't be reasoned with. But again, this is just part of being stuck in your emotions. You cannot be reasoned with. You cannot hear rationale. And this is why when you see those comments like supporting, you know, like murder, it's because these people are not thinking with common sense, critical thinking skills. They're just thinking pure emotions. I want vengeance. I want revenge. I want to feel good now. You know, that kind of nonsense that the devil uses to control you, right? The devil, I've told you guys this over and over, whether you're a person of faith or not, okay? I happen to be a person of faith. And I know thinking back on my own life, anytime I've screwed up, anytime I've gotten into a ton of trouble, which I used to when I was younger, every single time without fail, it was because I let my emotions take over. I was no longer in control. And even when I think back on some of those times, I'm like, man, that was a different person, right? Because that's how the devil controls you, through your emotions. That's how he gets you to do his bidding. That's how he gets you to go against, the commandments of God, like murdering people. He uses your emotions. And this kid, like I said, had it all. He had no reason to complain about life, right? He had everything and anything. 99% of us do not grow up in rich families, me included. That's why I appreciate where I am these days. That's why I appreciate, I'm thankful, I'm always grateful. And, that is a common antithesis. Like, it's just the opposite of how most of the left is, like, look at the people on The View, or people who were like, rah-rah Kamala, or people like this kid, whatever. They're just not happy, right? They're just not happy. They're never smiling. They're never happy about anything. They're always miserable about something, right? And what's really controlling their misery is their emotions. I cannot say this enough. Your emotions will always, son, do you in. Just like they did for this kid. Because like I said, this kid will be forgotten about. It's in the media right now, but once he's forgotten about, people have moved on. There's another person out there trying to kill another CEO, which probably will happen, sadly enough, because that's just how these things happen. He'll just be rotting away in prison. 26 years of freedom and living in luxury in his country club, his parents' country club, just to end up in a tiny cell with Bubba, and kid like that, right? Not a bad looking kid, man. He's gonna learn that he's not as tough as he thinks he is. It's very sad, man. Very sad. And I really truly believe one day, he will look back on this and the fact that he gave up his freedom to do something stupid when there was a better way. Right? And him especially, with his money, power, and influence that his parents have, his cousin's a politician, they could have done some real change. Not anymore. His family name's screwed. No one's going to listen to them now. Doesn't matter they have money. Doesn't matter, cousin's a politician. Nobody's going to take them serious now. You guys are just, you guys are murderers. That's how they're going to look at it. But anyway, yeah. Strategically, he gets an F-. It was a dumb move. And the reason why I say that is because he could have had some effect on, whatever he wanted change. He could have had an effect. But he chose he chose the emotional way out. One more thing I forgot to add before I end this video, totally forgot to mention, is that this kid shot this guy from behind. Okay? And as they used to say in the Old West, there's nothing more cowardly than shooting a man from behind, from the back. Okay, I mean, if he really wanted to take this guy out, he should have at least had the courtesy to face him face to face and take him out. Why do you have to shoot this guy from the back? So, in my view, that is absolutely cowardice, right? Face the guy. Put up your dukes. Fight the guy. Try to take him out yourself. But don't shoot him or anyone in the back. I mean, if you've got the balls to pull the trigger, do it in front of him. Give him an opportunity. I mean, that would be the manly thing to do. So, yeah, in my opinion, that's just complete cowardice. So go ahead and drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of tonight's coaching video. Anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to share, please keep it respectful and share your opinion. What do you think of this? Is he a murderer? Is he a hero to you? Let me know. Drop your comments below.